Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jared here, and today we are going to be talking about the 35th Disney theatrically released animated film, Hercules, directed once again by the duo that brought us The Great Mouse Detective, The Little Mermaid, and of course, Aladdin. And I'm excited to finally talk about this movie. This is an ambitious movie, similar to the ambitious film that came before it, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. However, I think that due to the fact of how ambitious that previous film was and how dark it got, I think that they definitely did the right decision by making this film a lot more lighthearted and a little bit more palatable, especially seeing as it is based off of the Greco-Roman myth of Hercules, or in the Greek, Heracles. And I think it's interesting to get into the nitty-gritty right off the bat with this adaptation, because Hercules is kind of a terrible adaptation of the Heracles or Hercules story because, well, being a Greek myth, there are a lot of things, such as some very adult theming, that doesn't necessarily resonate for a children's animated film. And so they had to really find a fine line of how they could adapt this story. And I think the best way that they could have done it was by telling a story that is so familiar to us, combining the story of Moses, Jesus, and of course, Superman into a superhero type of film. And I think it works incredibly well. Watching this movie is like watching Superman, the original Superman, in so many ways. We see somebody that is brought to Earth, that is filled with such amazing strength and doesn't really necessarily fit in, finds out who he is, who his father is, and decides to protect the world that he loves. And I think it is a great setup for this type of story. And I think that what makes Hercules stand on its own as its own great movie, even though it doesn't necessarily tell the accurate story of Hercules written in the Greek and Roman myths, I think it at least gets you interested in Greco-Roman mythology. And I think that is what is so great about Hercules, is that it is a stepping stone to learn so much more about the world, about myth. And I think that is what makes this film such a strong contender for one of the greatest Disney animated films ever made. It is flawed in some ways. I don't think that Hercules himself is a very compelling character. He has a great supporting cast, though, that really elevates the story. There's a lot of strange decisions, from the choice of animation to the gospel soundtrack. And I think that is honestly a strength of this movie. Alan Menken took a very different approach to the music that we saw in previous Disney films and went balls to the wall in a completely different direction. Because it's so weird that you have this epic Greek myth that, with this amazing, larger than life character, and you put that to gospel music, and it somehow works. It's a lot of fun. The muses are great, small little characters that really plunge the story forward. I think songs such as I Can Go the Distance are some of the best Disney film songs ever made. However, I think my personal favorite upon this recent rewatch has to be the song that Megara sings. I absolutely adore that song, and I adore that character. She's such a complex character for a Disney heroine that I think we have really seen up to this point. There's a lot of things we don't know about her, things that are behind the scenes. She is in debt to Hades because she wants to be with her love once again. And so she kind of plays Hercules in this game. However, she eventually ends up falling in love with him as well. And I think what is one of the strongest things of this movie is the theme and the ultimate message of the film. Because by the end, we see Hercules, who is fighting a bunch of monsters and becoming a true hero. But we see that you can't just become a hero by fighting all the bad guys. It has to ultimately mean something. And his sacrifice at the end of this film, when he decides Megara's life is more important than my own, and he plunges into Hades to find her. That is such an incredible moment, because we learn through this that the strength of a hero is not through what he is able to accomplish through his deeds, but it's through the strength of his own heart. And I think that is an incredible message that this movie portrays wonderfully. This is a film that I have warmed up to a lot. I really enjoyed it back in the day, and then I softened on it because I kind of fell in line with what a lot of people were saying about, oh, it's, not accurate to the Greek myth. How do you even tell this story? Oh, they're using the name Hercules, which is from the Roman version of the Greek myth. However, they're using all of the Greek gods. And I think ultimately it doesn't matter. It's ultimately a entry point level story that gets you interested in Greek mythology and Roman mythology. And it tells a powerful narrative nonetheless, with really likable, fun characters, beautiful animation that is very strange at times, and just wonderful music that, again, doesn't feel like it should fit, but works perfectly for this story. I think Hercules is a great film that has stood the test of time and has actually gotten better as it has gotten older and older. This is a great film, and I love it. It's one of my favorite Disney animated films, period. It's not a perfect film, but it is one that I am constantly going back to and having a great time with. So with all of that said, I'm going to give Hercules an 8 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to get this review out a lot earlier, but I've just been really busy with some things. But I do have another review for you coming very soon. In fact, I'm going to be filming it right after I do this one. So look forward to that. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And stay positive.